The Art of Fairness. The Power of Decency in a World Turned Mean. Humility and Good Manners in a Foolish World. By David Bodanis. A Story of Humility. In 1989, an incident occurred aboard a United Airlines flight from Denver to Chicago. Approximately 1 hour into the flight, at an altitude of 30,000 feet, one of the plane's engines exploded. The aircraft began to descend slowly, and despite numerous attempts by the pilot, Al Haynes, and the co-pilot to regain control and turn back to the airport, they were unsuccessful. Haynes had never been trained for a situation like this. Despite their efforts to manipulate the controls with maximum force, they couldn't change the plane's direction. Haynes realized that he needed help, a realization that can only come from someone mature and humble enough. However, if he listened to all the voices around him, chaos and panic would ensue. Conflicting instructions were coming from air traffic control, the co-pilot, the flight attendants, and the airline's engineering center. Haynes gathered his focus and set aside the usual arrogance that tends to dominate in such situations. He decided to listen to helpful opinions and ignore the rest. Only at that moment did he begin to make crucial decisions and continue leading the aircraft. It was an incredibly difficult decision to make under immense pressure as the plane was heading towards a potential crash. Haynes couldn't control both engines simultaneously. He operated one engine at maximum power and then switched to the other, trying to maintain the aircraft's balance as much as possible. In the end, Haynes successfully landed the plane, which skidded on the runway of Sioux City Airport in Iowa. There were, of course, minor losses of life, but the majority of the passengers survived. If Haynes hadn't listened to the experts, or if he had blindly followed conflicting opinions, he might have failed to land the plane, resulting in the loss of everyone on board. But thanks to his listening, seeking advice, patience, and humility, Haynes saved himself and hundreds of passengers. Preserving secrets. In 2012, specifically in London, director Danny Boyle faced a major dilemma as he prepared for the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games that summer. He relied on over 10,000 volunteers, including musicians, dancers, painters, lighting technicians, and others, for his initial rehearsals. Boyle wanted to keep the performance a secret to make it a surprise event. The standard procedure followed by the Olympic Committee in such cases was to require all participants to sign a non-disclosure agreement and surrender their phones during rehearsals. However, Boyle found that this approach contradicted the nature of creative work, as it forced them to work while fearing legal consequences. So, what was the alternative? Sebastian Coe, the chairman of the organizing committee in London and a former Olympic gold medalist, advised Boyle to change the approach. He suggested that instead of telling the participants that it was a big secret that could lead to legal consequences if leaked, Boyle should tell them to preserve the surprise. This was a completely different perspective because who among us enjoys spoiling surprises? Boyle put up large signs everywhere with the words, "Preserve the surprise." On the day of the opening, the ceremony was broadcast live in front of hundreds of millions of people worldwide. The spectacle was a massive surprise that amazed everyone. Despite the thousands of volunteers involved in the performance, not a single word was leaked. Skyscraper. Balanced giving refers to moderation in giving and taking. Excessive giving makes us susceptible to exploitation, while taking without accountability earns us the resentment of others. To learn the balance between giving and taking, we can contemplate the way the Empire State Building was constructed. For decades, the building stood as the tallest in the world, despite being built in just 13 months, while other skyscrapers in New York took much longer during that period. The contractors and implementing engineers of the project relied on offering high wages and providing motivating working conditions. They even provided discounted restaurants on the floors that were completed. The workers fulfilled their duties to the fullest and came up with innovative ideas to transport materials and equipment to the building, expediting the construction process. In exchange for these incentives, the contractors and builders implemented strict measures to monitor the progress of the work. They sent a team of inspectors to inspect the building, verify the completion of the work as required, and hold those responsible accountable. Thanks to the balance between giving and taking, accountability and fairness, this grand structure was successfully erected in record time. For more information, you can check out summaries of our books on our channel. Thank you for your valuable time.